Welcome to our series of reflection as we continue to journey together through this Lenten season. I would like to begin my reflection with a short story about a senior monk and a junior monk who were traveling to their destination. And at a point of their travel, they come across a river which was flowing with strong currents. As they were preparing to cross the river, they also noticed a young woman who wanted to cross the river. And seeing the monks, she approached them for help to cross the river. Without saying a word, the senior monk lifted the young woman in his arms, and all three of them crossed the river. After they had crossed the river, the senior monk placed the young woman at the bank of the river, and both the monks continued on their journey. For an hour, no one spoke. 2 hours, 3 hours, silence. And finally, gathering some courage, the junior monk looked at the senior monk and said, "Well, how could you do that? You know, we have taken vows, and still you carried that young woman in your arms across the river." The senior monk looked at the young monk, the junior monk, and said, "My dear brother, I left that young woman at the bank of the river. You are still carrying her with you." My dear friends, isn't that sometimes the story of our lives? There are times in the past where we have made certain choices, decisions that have gone wrong. There have been words spoken. There have been words thrown at us. We have been hurt. We have been pained. And very often we tend to carry the burden of those hurt, pain, choices, decisions of the past with us on our journey. And that can seriously, adversely affect the present. The readings this week, the second week of Lent, invite us to imitate God who is loving, kind, patient, compassionate. It's a God who invites us to share that love, that kindness, that forgiveness, that compassion with our fellow brothers and sisters. And that we are aware and mindful that very often we struggle to love. We are challenged in our kindness and generosity to forgive, to be compassionate, because of all this hurt, the pain, the consequences of the choices and the burdens of the decisions of the past. We are not free to love, although we want to love. We want to put our best foot forward at all the time. And we know that we try to do that very often, and it's difficult sometimes. And so this week we are called to pay attention to these readings, to be aware, to be mindful of the many ways that God wants to be with us, that God wants to enter our lives, offering us that loving transformation, that healing transformation in our lives, so that we can freely love, we can freely forgive, we can freely be kind and generous and compassionate to our people. Richard Rohr once said, "Pain that is not transformed is transmitted." As we continue our Lenten journey, we want to look at those areas of our lives, those pains, those hurts, those burdens that we have been carrying. How is God inviting us to let go of some of that burden of the past, so that we can continue on our journey freely, able to love, freely be able to be kind, to be compassionate, to be forgiving, as God our Father is to all of us in our life. May we seek that grace, may we be open to that transforming love and healing of God in our lives, especially through this Lenten season. May God bless us as we continue on our Lenten journey.